and however small, they've had to work from home or not work at all. And that has caused the issue of the fact that, okay, either some organizations have decided to lay off people. Some organizations have decided to let people work from home with partial payment. Some organizations have reduced the salaries to 50 to 60%. Some have not paid at all for the last 2-3 months because it has not fallen. So there's been a mix. And in that mix, organizations have realized and employers have realized that it is very important not just to focus on the volume of people that you have in an organization. They have filtered people based on experience. They filtered people based on their knowledge, and they filtered people based on the fact that they can do multiple tasking, which means again they filtered people based on those who are able to provide solution for the short term, which benefits the organization, and organizations are willing to pay a fee, whether you call it a salary or a fee or a consultation fee. They are ready to pay for that. So they've shrunk their staff strength, and that is what the situation has brought in front of us today.
All right. Now let's talk about employability. A lot of reports have cited the fact that our young people in Nigeria, our graduates, are grossly or hugely unemployable. What are the employability skills that employers look for?
The skills, when you say skills, I would have to break that down to a little bit to say that, okay, it depends on the industry, depends on the type of job. First of all, it is what is most essential for that business. So in an organization which employs a wide range of department or people from various fields, let's say tech skills and media literacy skills and proficiency with technology it's not of high essential to a business, but it's very easy to hire because people have been focusing for the last couple of years on technology. People are working on things of like accountants. Okay, are they very important? Of course they are very important, but what level of accountants are important? Again, it is on your knowledge base. So in today's day, I would coin it down to two aspects to say that what are employers looking for? They're looking for people who are good at critical thinking or who apply critical thinking in their job, and those who are able to provide solutions and problem solvers. So those are the two criteria. I think today people are actually looking at those who are problem solvers, or solution providers, and those who have the essence of critical thinking. So these are the two areas I think organizations have coined themselves down to see how they can maximize output from an employee while cutting down cost. Because one of the reasons people are laying off employees is to cut down cost in today's scenario.
Excellent. All right. So you have spoken about the employability skills. You said they are relevant to different or specific to different type of industry. But I believe that there are some standard skills that anybody that's looking for work must endeavor to have. And one of it you said problem-solving skills. In order to solve problems, you must be numeracy. You must have numeracy skills. You must also have analytical and critical thinking skills, because organizations face a lot of difficulties on an ongoing basis, and as such, they need people that can help them solve these problems. They don't need people who are going to be sloppy. You need somebody who can think on their feet most of the time, who can use own initiative, and who has good communication skills. Now, let's talk about communication skills. Do you find that most of our graduates in Nigeria are able to communicate effectively in words and in written form?
Okay. Yes, I would not deny that, yes, they are capable. But where they lack is, I think there's lack in the system of making them ready for employment. The lack of training and giving them the know-how of how to do this when they're out in the real world. That is what is on there. So soft skills and the vocational guidance is what is a requirement when you talk at education level before they come into the real world to say that they're ready to work. But I think there's the same applies to people who are already in the field of work and who already are in the career industry where they have jobs and are already looking for jobs. They also require a lot of vocational guidance because when it comes to communication at grassroots level, yes, there is lack of how they do communicate, especially when it comes to formal communication. It is taken very easy. And somehow they find it a task to learn it. They feel it is a favor on an organization when they're asked to learn it, which is where I feel the problem lies. So it does not. It is not a favor. It's a task. It's an
obligation.
It's a tool. It's a tool that you need, whether you like it or not. You need the tool to do your job effectively. And I think that is really what the attitude towards how they see the job and what they learn from it is very important.
You are already talking about my third question, which is about the work ethics, because you have mentioned the work ethics, that the way they see their role,
yes,
the way they see themselves in an organization, it's not positive. They don't have good work ethics, basically. They think they are doing you a favor when they are actually meant to be rendering you a service. And majority of the time, don't you find the word sorry very annoying? Because they use sorry for everything. They will be sloppy at work. They will not do what they are meant to do. And when they are challenged, their first defense is sorry. And when they say sorry, it does not really mean that it will not happen again. How do you deal with that?
Okay, so yeah, it's good you mentioned the word sorry. It has become the norm of working ethics, but I think, again, as I said earlier, it is the attitude towards the work. So how do you overcome the word sorry? How do you overcome the fact that they don't say sorry every time? I think it is the work culture that one creates, which means in today's day, most organizations are measuring their employees and from managerial level to grassroots level by KPIs. So they set KPIs for each and every person involved in the process, involved in the organization. And I think that is one way of avoiding the word sorry frequently, because in a small organization where you probably have, like ours, we probably have just about 10 people. Now, in an organization where you have 10 people, the word sorry is more frequent, and it is a challenge to deal with. But yes, even organizations as small as those working with a team of 10 need to apply a KPI today. And that's one of the ways and tools that you can avoid the word sorry every time. But apart from that, it's also the working culture. You have to create an environment where people don't find it necessary to say sorry. Again, having said that, there is the industry or the outer culture of the environment where people are influenced easily. So, for example, today you have an employee that is a good worker, doing their job perfectly well. They come to work on time. They deliver when they're supposed to deliver. They report when they're supposed to report. They also come back to you and give you suggestions and ideas to say, okay, we are stuck here. We could get. How do you?
Thank you about saying come back to you. That is one area I find challenging, because when you give a task to a subordinate, you have to chase. They don't come back to give you feedback. They don't update you. They don't understand what progress report means. You know, that's, for me, it's a challenge, really.
Yes, so that's what I was getting to, that you do have people who come back to you and tell you things, but the external environment where they live, the people they meet, and generally in the environment of Nigeria, we have to be very realistic. Everybody has a problem with where they work. So my answer to that is that you as an individual, or me as an individual, I've decided that I want to work in this organization. I chose, right? I was interviewed and I chose to accept the job profile that was given to me. And after I chose that, I also was the one who decided that, and I chose that what I was offered as a salary or as a pay, I accepted it.
Yeah.
For 3 months. It works like this for 3 months or 6 months. And then people start getting influenced by the external factors, which say, okay, you know what? I am working for this company. The company is paying me X amount. But I am now being offered for the same job or something which is not as taxing, maybe less difficult, and I'm getting X plus one for the job. So they decide that is a better option. So the measuring factor from employees' perspective is that they measure themselves based on what they get paid. There are very few employees who actually measure themselves on their talent. And they believe that, okay, yes, they are ready to work for X amount, no matter the company, because the experience and the talent they have is going to make them grow. So those are the variables of employees you will find. And it translates to employers also, because employers also measure people based on talent on one hand to a certain extent, and on the other hand they also measure employees on the value that they are asking for. So if somebody is asking you for a lower salary and ready to work for a lower salary, a lot of employers would choose that over this person asking for a higher salary because of the job profile that is there. So they believe in self-training, which is not wrong to a certain extent, but yes, that also affects the decision of an organization as to what type of talent they are hiring eventually.
So if somebody wants to get a job, what do you think they should do to prepare themselves? What are those skills? Let's talk about the mundane skills. Let's talk about punctuality. Let's talk about honesty. Let's talk about integrity. And let's talk about technology. How will you say those 4 skills are desirable as an employer? You want somebody who will be punctual, will turn up at work.
Yeah, you need, I mean, what you have said is exactly, I mean, at the end of the day, those 4 areas are the critical areas for any employer, and they would be looking at that. So punctuality, of course, is key. Again, employees need to understand and recognize this, that punctuality is the key to success. To what extent? That if you start on time your day, you'll deliver on time. You're likely to deliver on time. It may not be 100% all the time, but you are likely to deliver on time, and you're likely to close your day on time, which means it gives you time to do what you would probably like to do out of work hours, which you may be passionate about. So punctuality is definitely a key. Integrity comes from what I said earlier, is the fact that reliability. How reliable is the person? Reliability in today's day comes from references. As an employee, as an employer, we have experienced this also in the past, that you do employ people, and we have experimented ourselves by employing people that we don't know the references, but we have had to chase them to understand that they've given us the right references. And we have had issues. What sort of issues? Touchwood, I would not say nobody duped anything, nobody stole anything. but what the issue was, the attitude towards the job. The issue was the fact that employees do find it very easy in the employment market in Nigeria to shift jobs without having the risk of being taken up on it, either legally or whatever, even if you have a signed document of employment. In fact, it is far easier for an employee to take an action, a legal action on an employer, because obviously it is the weaker against the stronger. That's the view the legal system looks at. So if an employee says I have been ill-treated, the system takes that first. If an employer says I have not been treated well because there was a breach in agreement, it is not taken that seriously, and number of employees do not take that action because getting into any legal aspect between an employer and employee, it's a loss for both, because both of them have to spend money on that. So it is always amicable to sit across and understand why the issue has occurred. So a lot of organizations use the approach of training in-house, trying to inculcate the organization's values and beliefs, and the integrity that the organization believes in has to be inculcated in every employee. So that is a cost factor to every organization, and that is why at times it is difficult to find the right people again and again. So a lot of organizations keep increasing value of an employee, and over a period of time, it so happens that employees are overvalued compared to the job that they're doing, because there is a sense of complacency, that they believe that they're there and it will get done. So I think the constant training, the constant reminder of what you should do, and constant boosting of attitude, morale in every individual becomes a key. And I would say all this put together, what is very, very key to any employee and what they need to come in with is a highly positive attitude. If you're going in an organization, you need a highly positive attitude to work with, so that you don't get influenced by the unwanted from the external factors. Because when you get influenced by the unwanted from the external factors, it does affect your job, it affects your output, and it affects your attitude eventually. So, but if you're positive about where you are and what you're doing, no matter what job it is, whether you're working as a cleaner or you're working as a manager or working as a CEO for an organization, having the positive attitude towards what you're doing is very key. And believing in what you're doing is even more important.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So having a positive attitude, and a positive attitude can be said to be an attitude of a willingness to learn, willingness to an adaptability, really. Because when you are in an organization, you should be able to be adaptable. Because one thing, and also to be a team worker, to work in a team, interpersonal